Morning Year 5, your fluency for today is on the video. It's 30 seconds of timesing by 10, 100 and 1000 and dividing as well. We've done this before, so think about what you need and what you'll be expecting to see. If you're doing it timed, then your timer starts now. Yesterday we started to look at units of measure. Now today we're only focusing on millimetres and centimetres. So here I've drawn three characters on the board. I've got one 30mm, one 35 and one 28mm. Now hopefully you realise that these are not to scale, so that means they're not actually that size. However, what I'd like you to do is, if you've got the equipment at home, so a ruler and a pencil, have a go at sketching these to the right size. Now if you don't have a ruler, see if somebody at home has got a tape measure or just a soft tape that you can use, because they also have the units of measure on. So you'll see that one side you've got inches and one side centimetres. So if it says metres here, that's what you're looking for. So 30mm is going to be here, okay? It won't actually say millimetres, so you need to think about what we've talked about. Well done if you've had a go at drawing those. If you couldn't find one, then not to worry. We can still do the next activity. What I want us to think about now is, in millimetres, so if this is 30mm, then what would that be in centimetres? So as I just showed you on my tape measure or on your ruler, you can see that 3 centimetres is made up of 3 lots of 10. So that shows me that it's the same as 30mm, 3 whole centimetres, because remember 10mm is the same as 1 centimetre. But which one do you think is bigger, millimetres or centimetres? Because 30 is bigger than 3. See if you can pause the video and explain whether millimetres or centimetres are bigger. See if you can use this language frame to help you. Hopefully we realise that a millimetre is much smaller than a centimetre. So 30mm and 3 centimetres were the same, but 3 centimetres is much bigger than 3mm. Let's see if we can finish the sentences to help us. 10mm is the same as 1 centimetre. So as a fraction, 1mm is what fraction of a centimetre? Well, for every 1 centimetre, we have 10 millimetres. And so 1mm is 1/10 of a centimetre. Because a centimetre, let's think 1 centimetre is the same as 10, lots of 10 millimetres. Okay, and we can see that if you've got a ruler or a tape measure, if you look at 1 centimetre, there are 10 millimetres in between. So as a fraction, only one of those, so 1/10 of a centimetre. Now I want us to go back to our characters that we had at the start. See if you can have a go at turning these millimetres into centimetres. So the first one we did together, so this smiley one was 30mm, which we said was the same as 3 centimetres. Now the next one was 35mm. Now this one's a bit more tricky to turn into centimetres because it's not a multiple of 10. Okay, I can't just divide it by 10. So let's see, I've got 30mm, so that's the same as this one. So that must be 3 whole centimetres. I've got 3 whole centimetres. And then left, I've got 5mm. So it's 3 centimetres and 5mm. So I could say that I've got half of a centimetre, because let's think out of our 10mm, 5 is a half. So I could say 3.5 centimetres, or I could write this as a decimal. Okay, so if we divided 35 by 10, so think about our place value grid, I would get 3.5 centimetres. Okay, and remember that's the same as writing 3 wholes and 5 tenths of a centimetre. It's exactly the same. All of those measures are exactly the same. Okay, so it's 3 centimetres and 5 millimetres, or we write that as 3.5 centimetres. Now let's look at the next one, 28 millimetres. But it's the same idea. 20 millimetres is the same as having 2 whole lots of centimetres. So 2 whole centimetres. And then left I've got 8 millimetres. So I could either have 2 wholes and 8 tenths of a centimetre, or as a decimal, we should know that's 2.8, and remember it's centimetres, okay, because we've made it 10 times smaller, basically, 2.8 centimetres, okay, because centimetres are the bigger one. So well done if you got those. We're now going to move on to think about metres. So I want you to pause the video and see if you can fill in these sentences. How many centimetres is the same as 1 metre? So there are 100 centimetres in a metre. So as a fraction, 1 centimetre is what fraction of a metre? So let's think. Our denominator, how many are we splitting our whole metre into? We're splitting it, every metre there's 100 centimetres, and so for every 1 centimetre, it's 100th of a metre. We're now going to try converting some centimetres into metres and also into metres and centimetres to make sure that we understand that. So to start off with, I'm going to use my height. So I am roughly 157 centimetres. Okay, so I want to know what is that in metres, so you can give it to me as a decimal, and I also want you to see if you can give it me in metres and centimetres. So have a go and then we'll go through it. First of all, I'm just going to write down to remind me that 100 centimetres is the same as 1 metre. Okay, so I am 157 centimetres. Straight away I can see that there is 100 in I've got 100 centimetres. So that must mean that I am 1 metre, because that's my 100 centimetres, and then left over I've got 57 centimetres. So I could say that I am 1 metre and 57 centimetres. Now we can also write this as a decimal. So remember, all we are doing is dividing this by 100, because I want to get from centimetres to metres, and I'm dividing it by 100. So in my place value grid, I would move 2 places, and I would end up with 1 whole, so that's my metre, remember, and then 0.57. That is in metres, because this is 1 whole metre. Okay, so 1.57 metres. We could even do that as a fraction, so it would be 1 whole and 57 hundredths of a metre. Okay, so well done if you got that. Perhaps at home, if you've got a tape measure, you could measure your height, see if you're taller than Miss Price after all this growing since I've seen you, and see if you can write it in centimetres, metres and centimetres, and as metres, so it would probably be a decimal, and then send them to our email address. Here's some for you to have a go at, so I want you to pause the video and try and work these out. So I've got 634 centimetres, 356 centimetres, 202 centimetres, 94 centimetres and 1,104 centimetres. See if you can write them as metres and centimetres, and then just as metres. Let's start off at the top. So 634 centimetres. Remember, there's 100 centimetres in a metre. So we've got 6 lots of 100. So that must mean that there's 6 metres. So this is 6 metres. And then left, we've got 34 centimetres. So 6 metres, 34 centimetres. Don't forget your unit of measure. Now, just as metres, that must be 6 wholes, and then our decimal 6.34. We've divided by 100. Okay, use your place value grid to help you with this if you're struggling. Next one. 356 centimetres. So as metres and centimetres, I've got 3 lots of 100. So that's 3 metres and 56 centimetres left. 3 metres, 56 centimetres. As metres, oh, I forgot my unit of measure up here. that would be 3.56 metres divided by 100. Okay, divided this by 100. Next one, 202 centimetres. I've got 2 lots of 100, so that must mean I've got 2 whole metres. Now be careful, I've only got 2 centimetres left. So 2 metres and 2 centimetres. This one was here to catch you out. So when we divide this by 100, we get 2.02 metres. Okay, so be careful, this is 100th of a metre, remember, okay, because it's over here. 100th of a metre was 1 centimetre, and we've got 200ths of a metre. Okay, so well done if you got that one. The next one is also there to catch you out. So 94 centimetres. I haven't got any whole metres with this one, so I've got no metres and 94 centimetres. We haven't quite reached a metre. I'd need 6 more centimetres to get to 1 whole metre. So how would we write that as a decimal? We're still going to divide this by 100 to write it as metres. So that would give us 0, I've got no whole metres, and then 94, 0.94 metres. If I had 6 more hundredths or 6 more centimetres, I would get to 1 whole metre. Okay, so well done if you got that one. And the last one, 1,104 centimetres. So again, this was to try and challenge you. I've got 100 centimetres here, so that's a metre, but I've also got 1,000. So actually in metres, I've got 11 metres, 11 whole metres, and then I've got 4 centimetres left. Okay, so as a decimal, we just do the same. With this number, we divide it by 100. So I'd have 11 whole metres and 4 centimetres left. When we're dividing that by 100, that's 4 hundredths of a metre. So it would be 11.04 metres. Really well done if you got all of those, because some of those were really, really tricky. Okay, so remember you're looking for your whole metres. How many groups of 100 have you got? And then think about what you've got left. And remember, as your decimal, this is 100th of a metre. Now also remember, if you're just going from centimetres to metres, you're dividing by 100. So you can use your place value grid to do this. Draw out your place value grid and dividing by 100 will be getting smaller. So you're moving 2 places to the right. Boy. That's it for me today, guys, and here's Ringo. I know you haven't seen him for a while. Your task today is on Purple Mash, so let me know how you get on. Any issues, just let me know. And today's challenge is coming up. I didn't set one for yesterday, so I apologise, but there's a challenge coming up next, and I'll see you tomorrow.